And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Mustang Arena. Apologies for the audio difficulties we had at the very beginning of the game, but we are online now as West Orange comes out to a 4-2 start. My name is Mark Barchi, the voice of the Mustangs, and joining me as always, Neil Fisher from the Apopka Chief to take you through tonight's game.
Well, again, thank you, Mark, and again, to the audience out there, thanks for your patience. Not much was missed. A couple of turnovers, as well as a couple of made field goals off of turnovers by Wekiva for West Orange, and Wekiva had its field goal. Coming in tonight, Mark, this is a game that, when you look at the records, a surprise for both teams. Of course, being that we cover Wekiva, we're familiar with their record. They're only 5-9 this year. They've been a very up-and-down team. Unfortunately, they found themselves in pretty much, I believe, every loss behind by double points. They've rallied in most of them. And West Orange, though, is a surprise as well, only 5-8. That leads me to believe that there's a lot of turnover from the team that made it all the way to the state final last year.
Yeah, Neil, most notable about that turnover for West Orange is going to be DJ Harding, who is an early enrollee at Duke football. And so that pulled the senior off of the roster and probably their star player. And they'll be recovering from that.
Yeah, and going back, this is the second time these two teams have met. Of course, this is a perfect game, as I just mentioned. An important game because both teams are below expectations. Starting with the record, that's the most tangible measurement. But they're district rivals. If you're not familiar with the landscape, so to speak, the schools are only about 10 miles apart, so they're natural district rivals. West Orange won the first game.
Putback made for the Mustangs by Latavius Poole.
West Orange won the first game. Wekiva fell behind by as many as 16 points early in the third quarter. They rallied, tied the game with about 40 seconds left, and had an opportunity to win. Unfortunately, did not make a layup.
Tyler Schuler to Mike McAllister for two.
So Wekiva actually came up with a stop with about 40 seconds left with the score tied after rallying from 16 down. They could not get the basket on the next possession, had two opportunities. The ball rolled in and out on one and rolled over the rim on the other. West Orange got the rebound. They came down, and Tyler Schuler hit a three-point field goal about 2 feet behind the arc as time ran out. Actually, there was about 3 seconds left, and that was the story of that game.
24. Mike McAllister gets the basket and a chance to make it a three-point play. The foul called against Latavius Poole is second and the team's second.
So, as we mentioned, Mark, West Orange won that first game. Fortunately, Wekiva is yet to win a district game. There's only 4 teams in the district, so you got 6 games home and home series as Wekiva turns the ball over. They've turned the ball over already 4 times in this first half, but Wekiva has lost all 3 games that they've played so far. And West Orange comes in 1-2 themselves. And both these teams need a victory tonight to keep up with Apopka, who's 3-0. If you didn't realize this, this is the second round of the home-and-home series. That just simply means that both teams play at each other's court once. So, for instance, West Orange and Wekiva, they played at West Orange last month. This is the return trip. They're now playing at Wekiva. You do that for all 3 of the other teams in the district. And given the fact that Wekiva has turned the ball over 4 times already here, a little bit more than 5 minutes into the game, make that 5, it's really, they're very lucky to only be down by an 8-4 score. Now, as I did mention, Mark, Wekiva so far this year has had a very, very bad habit. They fall behind by double digits early. All 9 of their losses, I believe they were down by double digits at some point in the first half. last game they beat up Freedom. They came out and took the lead early, and now they're only trailing by a deuce here. 2.5 minutes left. Who scored?
That was Michael James that picked up that basket, and then we're going to get another gift from the Warriors here as Eric Wynn lets the ball go out of bounds.
Was that turnover? So if you didn't notice this also, tonight's lineup, there's been a change. Donovan Stokes has been inserted, number 32, and I asked Coach Lubin before the game why. Just simply, and his answer was just simply because Stokes has earned the right to start. He's done much better in practice than most of the starters.
So the hand check there is called against Visual Russell. His first and the team's first. Terrence McLean on the Mustang layup.
And again, if you follow Wekiva, you're familiar with Terrence McLean. Him and Michael James are the leading scorer. Both of them are averaging about 15 points a game. And they're going to need both of them, Wekiva that is, if they're going to be able to pull off a victory tonight.
Who's fouling?
32.
Donovan Stokes.
So again, Donovan Stokes with the foul there. His first. And of course, I just talked about Donovan being inserted into the starting lineup for the first time this season. And of course, Coach Rubin went with him because he feels that he's earned the right to start. Nothing specific, just simply he's been practicing. The quality of his work in practice has been better. Of course, also, like we mentioned, Wekiva's really struggling this year, and it might be as much of directly to try to shake the team up a little bit as well, too. So one good piece of information, which I did mention a couple of minutes ago, Mark, of course, is Wekiva beat Freedom in their last game. Of course, Freedom had only one victory, so it's not a tremendous victory. But again, when you come in with only a 4-9 record, you're looking for anything to build your hat on. And to be honest, they had a lot of inconsistencies in that game, but they did have enough consistencies to win.
Eric Wynn on the dunk for the Warriors, and we'll pause for a Mustang timeout, full timeout, requested by Wekiva. And we'll be right back.
Who scored?
Foul is called against number 11, Jamarcus Clark, his first, the team's second. And there we go. Sorry about that. We had a little technical glitch with the camera. Wire got loose. And here we get a turnover as it's picked off by Skylar Helmuth.
Yeah,
and we're going to foul at the other end. Foul's called against Donovan Stokes. That's his second personal foul and the team's fourth.
So now Wekiva, if you follow Wekiva, of course, you know they're primarily a man-to-man team. I'd say about 90% of the time they've been in full court or half-court man-to-man this year. But more importantly, during that timeout, Coach Lubin, and unfortunately we've seen this way too many times this year, that was not a timeout about strategy or tactics. That was a get-in-your-player's-face timeout. We could hear him over here. He sits to our left, and we could basically hear at least every other word that Coach Lubin was saying to the players. Very intense, just basically, you know, you guys are not coming out with the effort required to win. And especially if you're going to beat a team, again, this important district contest.
That takes us to the end of the first period. And at the end of 8 minutes, it's a 3-point ball game. The Warriors lead the Mustangs 11-8 at the end of the first quarter. We'll be right back. Mustangs have the opening possession of the second period.
So as we come back to live action, Mark, of course, I was telling you about the timeout, and Coach Lubin just not very happy with the team's effort. The stat that really sticks out the most as far as exemplifying that lack of effort, or at least maybe not being focused, the focus being where it needs to be, is turnovers. Six during that first half by Wekiva. So at that pace, you're looking at 24 for the game. Now, fortunately, West Orange has committed 5 themselves, but we're looking at a one-possession game. So you can do the math. One possession, one more turnovers. Wekiva did actually get away with the first turnover on their first possession, but West Orange has turned all 4 of the others into points.
Michael James behind the arc for 3.
And that was the first sign of Wekiva really looking smooth as Michael James took that pass across the court. Good inside-outside motion there. And, of course, we're tied at 11-all. That's a good start as well for Wekiva. Not only scoring and tying the game, but finding a semblance of their game, what they do well.
McLean can't get the reverse layup to go. Rebound goes to Mike McAllister. Double team coming on from the Mustangs. The Warriors break free.
So again, looking back here real quick at the first half stats, both teams have actually shot the ball when they haven't turned it over and been able to create the shot. Of course, I always like to say, Mark, if you don't have the ball, you can't shoot it. West Orange is actually 5 of 7 from two-point range, and Wekiva's 4 of 6. So both teams shooting about 2/3. Of course, again, the problem is they're turning the ball over half the possessions.
Terrence McLean on the Mustang layup.
Spinning move there by McLean, and Wekiva takes the first lead of the game. Again, beautiful way to use the body there by McLean.
Warrior answer by Nigel Brown. Terrence McLean draws the foul on the way up. He'll be at the line shooting 2 for the Mustangs. Warrior foul is called against number 12, Garrison Smith. It's his first personal foul and the team's third.
And these are the first 2 free throws attempted during this game by Wekiva. A bit unusual. Wekiva usually gets, I'd say, probably about 6 free throws a half. Nice stroke there by Terrence. Gives Wekiva the lead again with 5:46 left in the half. Good foul through, too.
Isaiah Laster in for the Mustangs.
So just for the record, West Orange was 1 of 3 at the line in the first quarter. And also the last stat that we have yet to go over is rebounds. And that was fairly even as well, Wekiva having 5 and West Orange 6.
30-second timeout requested by West Orange. We'll be right back. Mustangs enjoying a 2-point lead. Warriors take their timeout, and we're going to come. McAllister with a short jumper, not able to get it to go. Michael James on the rebound for the Mustangs.
Good recovery defense there by Wekiva, forcing an off-balance shot. They're leaning backwards.
James lowers his shoulder into the key, and he's got it. Michael James picks up 2 for Wekiva.
And there you see the difference in shooting. A West Orange shot off the back foot, leaning backwards. James was leaning into the basket. He got the roll, West Orange didn't. Wekiva is actually now on a 9-2 run, by the way. Is that a turnover?
Missed 3.
And again, West Orange was 5 of 7 from 2-point range in the first quarter. They're now 0 of 4 here to start off the second quarter.
Traveling Warriors ball.
And again, a turnaround, at least through the first half of the second quarter here. That was Wekiva's first turnover. And
Isaac Laster's going to get it right back for the Mustangs, though. An opportunity for Wekiva to extend their lead to a 6 here, but it's not going to bounce in for Isaiah Laster. No better luck for the Warriors at the other end. Mustangs going to try to score in transition. And yes, indeed, Michael James draws the foul for Wekiva. He'll go to the line and shoot 2. The foul is called against Warriors number 2, Eric Wynn. That's his first personal foul, and the team's 4th. So all in all, the momentum favoring Wekiva for the last couple of possessions. They now enjoy a 4-point lead and have an opportunity to add a couple of free throws. James hits his first.
Yeah, and the other thing too, Mark, is that swing has also been caused by Wekiva getting more inside. Now again, Wekiva's not a primarily inside team. They run the motion offense. They like to do a lot of shooting in that mid-range, but they are getting inside underneath the basket a lot more than they were in that first quarter there.
Also 11. Personal and technical fouls called against Xavier Christian. That's his first and second personals, and the fifth and sixth team shooting the free throws to Marcus Clark.
So again, Mark, I'm not sure what exactly happened there, but this is very, very critical. As we were explaining, Wekiva's really started to take some momentum because they're playing their game, exerting their strength, and now they give West Orange an opportunity to kind of break that streak and that momentum and that roll. So Wekiva continues to catch some breaks here. The first free throw is no good. What could have been an 18-15 ball game. One possession, it remains at 2. But West Orange does get possession of the ball due to the technical. Wekiva remains in man-to-man defense here.
And an air ball there will earn a little bit of ridicule from the crowd, and it'll be the Mustangs' ball at their own baseline.
So I'd say right now, at least statistically, the difference in Wekiva taking the lead and being on a 10-2 run is the turnovers. They went from 6 to only 1 here in the second quarter. West Orange committed 5, and they now have 4 with 3:40 left here in the second.
Fouls called against Eric Wynn, his second, the team's fifth. At the line shooting 2, Terrence McLean. McLean hits his first.
So both free throws good, and Wekiva has a 6-point lead, the largest of the night. Now they go full court man-to-man. And again, West Orange's shooting has really cooled off here as they missed another free throw. Another field goal attempt.
Fouls called against Isaiah Laster, his first, and the team's 7th, and it puts the Warriors into bonus. At the line, shooting 1-1, number 2, Eric Wynn.
West Orange has yet to connect on a field goal. They're 0 of 4 here in the second quarter.
And that miss is recovered by Terrence McLean.
And West Orange continues to leave points on the table at the free throw line. They're only 3 of 8 right now.
Jaden Battle on the pass from Latavius Poole.
0. A nice pass over the middle there by Poole.
Foul is called against Mustangs number 0, Jaden Battle. That's his first personal foul in the team's 8th. At the line, shooting 2 for the Warriors, Eric Wynn.
So Wynn back at the free throw line. Again, only 3 of 8 as a team. West Orange from the free throw line.
Checking into the game for the Mustangs, Michael James.
Another series in which West Orange splits the difference at the free throw line. And they've missed 6 free throws right now, and that just so happens to be the difference in the score.
Offensive charge is called against Terrence McLean, his first in the team's 9th. No bonus shots on offensive fouls, and it turns the ball over to the Warriors. And so that charge taken by Visual Russell there will give the Warriors an opportunity to close a little bit of the gap, but they will not as they throw the ball away out of bounds and unable to capitalize on that opportunity after picking up the offensive charge.
Yeah, and again, I know I keep harping on it, but it really is the difference there in the free throw lines. 5th turnover of this quarter for West Orange, 10 total.
And Terrence McLean there seemed frustrated that nobody moved to catch his ball, but frankly, he threw it out of bounds. So
Wekiva returns the favor. I just applauded them for really making a change here. They'd only had 1 turnover until about 2 minutes 45 seconds, and they've committed 2 in the last 2 possessions. Some good work underneath the board there from West Orange.
Foul is called against Latavius Poole. That's his 3rd personal foul. And the team's 10th. At the line shooting 2, number 24, Mike McAllister.
So the other area, free throws, where West Orange has really given up the advantage or is at a disadvantage. Free throw lines, that's the 7th free throw they've missed tonight. Excuse me, the 6th free throw. They're 4 of 10. Actually 5 of 12.
Traveling. Mustangs ball. Checking into the game for Wekiva, number 10, Isaiah Laster.
So a hard-fought series there in which West Orange had an opportunity to cut into the lead, goes by the boards. Oh! That was a nice inside-outside passing sequence there. Right on the money. Unfortunately, the basket just didn't, the ball did not go in.
Jamarcus Clark picks up 2 for the Warriors.
And West Orange does a very nice job of getting into transition and getting an easy layup there.
Isaac Laster to Terrence McLean for the Mustang layup.
Laster.
Warriors basket by number 2, Eric Wynn.
Isaiah Laster made the last.
No, assist.
Oh,
McLean made the basket.
Oh, McLean. McLean.
It was the Warriors ball. When they
Eric Wynn steals a dunk for the Warriors.
So now as we get down to the last minute mark, Wekiva has to be careful here. They came out and took the lead on a 10-2 run at the start of the quarter and really started to exert their game. What they do well, they got quite a few turnovers. I've been harping on it all throughout the game. West Orange has 6 in this quarter, but they got like 3 of them in the first minute and a half. And now West Orange is threatening to take the lead and turning the flow, the direction, the feel of the game around too.
Nice rebounding work there. Goaltending, no basket.
So I'm not sure about that one, Mark. Unfortunately, we don't have instant replay. To me, it looked like the ball was coming down. Fortunately, as the old saying goes, no harm, no foul. There's West Orange misses on the other end.
So we'll get back-to-back turnovers here as we close into the last 21 seconds of this first half. A lot of good and a lot of bad on both sides so far.
Yeah, very up and down, very inconsistent game here.
McLean can't get it to go. Rebound to Win. At the other end, 3 won't go for Clark. Rebound goes to Laster. He'll let one fly at the end. Manages to hit the glass, but it's no good. And that takes us to the end of the second period, and now it's a 1-point ball game. The Mustangs lead the Warriors 24-23 at intermission of this varsity district contest.
We're still live. Don't do that.
I don't need to see the back of my head.
Ladies and gentlemen, here are your halftime stats, and we'll begin with the Warriors. Jamarcus Clark has 3 points. Nigel Brown, 4 points, 1 rebound, and 1 assist. Mike McAllister, 6 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 steals. And Eric Wynn leads his team with 10 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 steals. As for the Mustangs, Jaden Battle has 2 points, 1 rebound, and a steal. Latavius Poole, 2 points, 3 rebounds, and 1 assist. Michael James with 8 points and 4 rebounds, and Terrence McLean leads the all scorers with 12 points and 2 rebounds. For those of you here in the arena, make sure that your friends and family back home know that we are continuing to broadcast live on the NFHS Network and YouTube. For those of you who are listening to us on YouTube right now, we're going to take a break for about the next 9 minutes, and then we will be back here at Mustang Arena with the second half of this district contest. Again, the Mustangs have a 1-point advantage, 24-23 over the Warriors, going into the locker rooms. And welcome back to Mustang Arena. Mark Barchi and Neil Fisher here with you from Wekiva High School and the Apopka Chief, respectively, as the Mustangs come back from the break with a 1-point advantage.
Again, Mark, I think you put it best there with about 30 seconds left in that first half. This has not been a very well-played game as far as consistency. We've seen several stretches by both teams of very solid, forceful play as far as being able to exert their game, what they do well. And we've seen a lot of the opposite as well.
Tyler Schuler puts the Warriors on the board for the second half with a 3.
But looking at the stats here as West Orange goes back in front, both teams continue to shoot the ball well. West Orange 9 of 17 from two-point land, Wekiva 8 of 17, so both around 60%.
Jaden Battle on the pass to Michael James for the Mustangs' first points of the quarter.
And the problem, though, again, going back to what you said about the inconsistency, that is when they shoot the ball well, when they actually are able to keep possession of it. The teams combined to turn the ball over 21 times in the first half.
Donovan Stokes is called on the foul. That's his third, the team's first this half. Isaac Laster is into the game for him.
So 11 turnovers for Wekiva, 10 for West Orange. One main advantage, though, Wekiva did develop in that first half was at the line. They went 5 of 6, West Orange 5 of 11. So 6 points left on the board, on the table, so to speak, by West Orange. And rebounds were almost even, 18 to 16 in favor of Wekiva.
Jaden Battle can't get the short jumper to go. The rebound goes to Tyler Schuler. Warriors trying to get something done in transition and maybe doing a little too much as Nigel Brown turns the ball over to a steal by Jaden Battle. Mustangs swing around to McLean. He's under the basket, can't get it to go. Rebound goes to the Warriors, Eric Wynn.
And so that play has also really reflected the score. We've seen, I guess you could say, 2 big runs and about a handful of minor runs as well.
Latavius Poole, coast to coast.
And there you see again the turnover coming into play, an easy coast-to-coast run there for Latavius Poole. And Wekiva retakes the lead here.
Warriors unable to answer at the other end. Terrence McLean on the rebound.
Some strong rebounding there by McLean. And we mentioned this throughout the first half, and really no surprise if you follow Wekiva. James and McLean are their 2 big scorers, and if they're going to beat West Orange, basically we haven't seen quite as much of the no quarter, give no quarter play, but still these 2 teams, the district rivals, are very physical when they play each other, and that really puts an emphasis on McLean and James really being able to have good night scoring, not just putting up a lot of points, but good field goal percentage.
And we'll pause here for a timeout. The Warriors request the break. It'll be a full timeout requested by West Orange. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to Mustang Arena. Wekiva has the ball at their own baseline following the Warrior timeout.
And West Orange, of course, opens up the second half here in full court man-to-man defense. Saw a lot of that in the first half. Again, Wekiva also plays primarily man-to-man about 90% of the time. The only question is if they go full court or half court.
Mike McAllister gets a good block, but the officials are going to rule it out of bounds off of him. Mustangs will remain in control. And that is tipped away by Nigel Brown. That will also allow the Mustangs to recover in the backcourt without incurring a violation. And it's going to be Isaac Laster up the paint for two. Well, Neil, nothing fancy about that, just good solid run up the middle.
Yeah, I was going to say Isaac just lowered his shoulder and created some space for himself. Got angled up properly to the glass and put the ball in. But good job there by Isaac Laster to recognize that he had a potential drive and take advantage of it.
Jaden Battle adds a jumper for the Mustangs. And so, Neil, while we haven't seen anything particularly explosive from Wekiva yet this half, they've pulled away by 6 now, thanks to the fact that they've just had some pretty routine baskets going in that the Warriors haven't. But that tide turns now as Tyler Schuler behind the arc hits a 3 for the Warriors.
So as we mentioned way back there at the beginning of the ball game, Mark, Tyler Schuler was the hero the first 2 times these teams met about 6 weeks ago, draining a 3-point field goal about 2 feet behind the arc with about 3 seconds left. And again, he's not really somebody who appears to be West Orange's first option as far as going to the shooting, but he still is quite lethal, and we just saw it there. Much needed field goal for West Orange, cut the lead down to 1 possession, but stopped Wekiva from really being able to solidify some momentum.
Terrence McLean for 3 from Michael James.
Of course, that's an important basket for Wekiva in the sense of what I just explained, be able to reestablish that lead, but also pay dividends off of what they do well, the inside-outside motion that they like to use.
Offensive foul is called against Jaden Battle. Out of bounds. Mustangs ball. Checking into the game for the Warriors, number 11, Jamarcus Clark. And there you see Schuler come out after an odd turnover there at their own baseline by the Warriors. I mean, Battle was playing decent defense, but really it was just an off-target inbound and a half-hearted attempt to recover it.
Yeah, but Battle does deserve credit for taking advantage of the lackadaisical effort there. But he did also make a nice play with putting his wrists in the right position there to break up the pass.
And Terrence McLean returns the favor, this time to Michael James.
So 8-point lead now by Wekiva, the largest of the ball game. 2:33 left here in the third quarter.
Mustang foul called against Jaden Battle. That's his third and the team's third. Yeah, a couple possessions ago, we saw a nice move that was McLean to James. Now we saw James to McLean. And here we're going to see 2-point basket stolen by Isaac Laster.
So again, 5th turnover. West Orange has really had a problem with turnovers tonight.
Skylar Helmuth picks up 2 for the Warriors.
So now critical stretch of the game, in particular for West Orange, facing a 10-point lead. It's now 8. Certainly an opportunity to suddenly face a situation where they're going to have to put forth some extra effort to remain in this ball game.
Have to give him room to land.
So on that possession, Mike McAllister ultimately gets called with the foul on the loose ball after the rebound, and so the Mustangs will get that as a team rebound for themselves. James spins, he's got it. Michael James, and 1.
So that's some playground basketball there, 101. Using your body to shield the ball and draw the foul there. Great job by James to recognize the situation and immediately get the aggressive play. And that is a big-time rebound there. A man's rebound.
No three-point play, but Latavius Poole give a chance for the Mustangs to extend their lead here. By the way, that was McAllister picking up his second foul there. It's good. Michael James for three. And so instead of being a three-point play, that is effectively a 5-point play.
A huge series there. Who got the rebound?
Out of bounds, Mustangs ball. That was Latavius Poole that set that up, picking up the rebound after the missed three-point play, and here the Warriors are going to try to regroup. 30-second timeout requested by West Orange. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to Mustang Arena. Wekiva enjoying a bit of a run here. They now lead by 13, and as you recall, 7 minutes ago, they only led by 1. So a 12-point swing in the Mustangs' favor. There goes Donovan Stokes.
Yeah, Wekiva is on an 18-5 run here. The score was tied 26-26 after West Orange drained a tray on their about a minute into the ball game.
Foul is called against number 12, Garrison Smith, his second, the team's third. Laster for three, bounces out. Crowd thought that was a clean block, but we're going to get it called. Donovan Stokes is called on the foul. That's his fourth personal and the team's fourth, and it sends the Warriors to the free throw line.
So again, important free throws here for West Orange. Only 5 of 11 in the first half, and this is their first free throws of the second half. But they really need to get these points here, not just to stop Wekiva's run and Wekiva really exerting its game on West Orange, but also to kind of find some semblance of West Orange's game as well. From a tangible standpoint, when you're down by 13, there's no room for error. Being down by 13 in the first half is one thing, but you only got a little over a quarter here to make up, so you have less time to deal with. Unfortunately, West Orange misses both free throws, and that's a huge break for Wekiva. Again, it gives them a little bit more room. A little bit more room is added to the amount that they have.
And it looks like it's going to go out of bounds off the Warriors, which will give the Mustangs yet even more opportunities to score here with 6 seconds left. Mustangs seem likely to go into the break with a double-digit lead, and it's going to be Jaden Battle and one. Foul called against number 12, Garrison Smith. That's his second personal foul, the team's fourth. So that was just about as good as the last 6 seconds could have gone for Wekiva.
Yeah, just pretty much everything that could go right for Wekiva did. But to Battle's credit, and this is the third time he's done this tonight, saw the opening, saw the potential for a drive, and immediately struck.
That takes us to the end of a very productive third quarter for the Mustangs. Wekiva outscored West Orange 22-8 that period, and that gives them a 46-31 lead. 15 points separate these two district rivals as we head into the final 8 minutes of tonight's contest. Again, a 46-31 score going into the last quarter. All right, welcome back to Mustang Arena for the last 8 minutes of this district contest. And Neil, this is one the Mustangs need as they're looking for a district victory.
Yeah, as we mentioned at the beginning, this is the first game of the second round of the home and home series, which just basically means each team plays. There are 4 teams in the district, so you have 3 teams that you play, and you play each team twice, each rotating the home team. And this is the beginning of that second round. Wekiva's 0-3. West Orange is 1-2. Their lone victory coming over Wekiva. But more importantly, if Wekiva can get a win here, this will be their third on the last 4 games. So a team that came in 5-9, they look to be upping the record to 6-9, but it looks like they're finally starting to round into form as far as being able to play their game and exert a semblance of their game.
Offensive charge is called against Eric Wynn, his 3rd personal foul, the team's 5th.
So as we get started here in this 4th quarter, Wekiva has a 15-point lead, and there's really no surprise when you look at the statistics as to why they went from a tie ball game to a 15-point lead as we had turnover here. And that's really the field goal shooting, the free throws, and the turnovers.
Jamarcus Clark gets the basket and a chance to make it a 3-point play. The foul is called against Mustangs' Isaac Laster. That's his first personal foul on the team's 5th.
So starting with the field goals here, Mark, both teams shot the ball very well during the first half. The problem was they just kept turning the ball over. They had about 50% of the possessions they turned it over. West Orange was 9 of 17. Wekiva was 8 of 17 from 2-point land. However, the numbers are now 10 of 25 for West Orange, so now they've fallen below 50%. Wekiva 16 of 33, and that basically means that West Orange was only 1 of 8 in that 3rd quarter there, while Wekiva was 8 of 16. So Wekiva maintained that percentage around 50%. Actually went a little bit lower, but they're still around 50%, while West Orange only shot 12.5. And then, of course, the turnovers continued for West Orange. They had 10 in the first half, 6 in the 3rd quarter. Wekiva went from 11 in the first half to only 1 in the 3rd quarter.
Jaden Battle is fouled on the attempt. He'll go to the line and shoot 2 for the Mustangs. Foul is called against Tyler Schuler. That's his first personal foul and the team's 6th.
And, of course, looking at the free throw, West Orange has really shot themselves in the foot there, only 5 of 13. Wekiva really is not taking an advantage as far as the actual points scored. They've only scored 5 on 8 attempts, but again, the difference is 8 points have been left on the table for West Orange as opposed to only 3 for Wekiva. So that's also a 5-point difference there as well. And no sooner did I say that, Jaden Battle misses both free throws. An opportunity to reestablish that lead at 15 points, not taken advantage of.
And so a nice pick there by Isaac Laster. Visual Russell knocks it away from him.
And again,
it's a bit of payback, but it stays with the Mustangs.
And that's really been an underlying story there, underlying beneath the turnovers, as I just mentioned. Big difference between the first half and the third quarter. Wekiva going from 11 turnovers to 1. West Orange going from 10 to 16. But a lot of those turnovers have been lackadaisical, bad passes by West Orange. And Wekiva is taking advantage, getting in the passing lane.
Latavius Poole gets the Mustang basket and a chance to make it a three-point play. The foul called against Jamarcus Clark, his second and the team's sixth.
And again, that's another underlying story, underlying drawing the fouls there. The middle opened up and Poole took advantage of it right away, driving, lowering his shoulder.
Jamarcus Clark fouled on the attempt. He'll go to the line and shoot two. The foul called against Jaden Battle. That's his fourth personal foul and the team's sixth. So that means that both teams will be enjoying bonus for the remainder of this ball game, the next 6 minutes and 2 seconds anyway.
By the way, both teams have remained in man-to-man defense here, as we're now 6 minutes from the end of the ball game. And West Orange continues to miss free throws. That's their 9th miss of the ball game. And again, Wekiva has not shot the ball particularly well at the free throw line either. But when you have a 14-point lead, you have far more room for error. Oh, beautiful tip in there.
Latavius Poole with a tip in for two.
Beautiful tip in there, textbook technique there. And so Latavius has made himself felt here in the fourth quarter, and in particular the last two offensive possessions.
Yeah, as we like to say, Neil, not bad for a freshman. He's got 8 points and 9 rebounds. He's actually not out of the hunt for a double-double yet. Mike McAllister back into the game for West Orange.
So again, Wekiva has done a nice job of turning around the turnovers. Only the second of the entire second half.
Latavius Poole is called on an offensive charge. It's his fourth personal foul, the team's 7th. No bonus shots on offensive fouls, but it turns the ball over to the Warriors.
So perhaps we gave Latavius a little too much credit there. Tried to make something happen and instead winds up getting the foul.
He does get the rebound here. And we'll pause for a moment. All right, welcome back to Mustang Arena. We've got the last 5 minutes of this ball game for you here. And the Mustangs need this win, not just to salvage their district record, but also to salvage the momentum of their season.
Yeah, and again, I know, I believe it's the third time I've mentioned it, but it is just so important to mention. If Wekiva can hold on here and get a victory, it'll be the third time in 4 games. So it certainly looks like they're starting to get their act together, so to speak. And I got to admit also, Mark, while West Orange has, had something to do with it, Wekiva's looked much better here for most of this game. They got off to a bit of a slow start.
Nigel Brown on the pass from Visual Russell for 3.
So Wekiva got off to a bit of a slow start, but since that timeout in the first half where you could say Coach Lubin lambasted his team, Wekiva has played a much smoother, a much more efficient, proficient game. The ball's moved much more fluidically, and even on defense, the player and the rotations have been much more fluidic.
So West Orange picks up a steal here on the jump ball since the arrow's in their favor. And we're going to get a rare kickball turnover. I guess you can credit Isaac Laster on a steal there since he caused it to happen. And they're going to rule that he played it clean, and so that is indeed a turnover, not a foul.
And, with 4 minutes and 3 seconds here left in the ballgame, I go back to where we started, and one of the problems Wekiva's had throughout the season was that they fall behind by double digits early in the game. As soon as the ball's tipped over, in all 9 of their losses, they were behind by double digits early in the first quarter. This will also be the 4th straight ball game in which they have not had that
Terrence McLean to Michael James for 3.
So granted, they did not play particularly well. It was far from a perfect game. There was a lot of inconsistencies against Freedom, which was the game before today, but they did do what they had to in order to take the lead and avoid falling behind early.
Jaden Battle is called on his 5th personal foul. He retires from the game with 6 points and 2 rebounds for the Mustangs. Checking into the game for him is Donovan Stokes.
So, and again, just to make reference, this Donovan Stokes started tonight, his first start this season, and I believe his first start as a varsity player.
And in all that excitement there, we barely mentioned that Mike McAllister was getting 1-and-1 free throws. He misses it, and Latavius Poole gets the rebound, and that does officially put him at 12 rebounds. All he needs is to hit another bucket, and he might go down in the books with a double-double tonight.
And I'd also like to point out the last possession, which of course ended with Michael James getting that 3-point field goal. That was just a perfect example of what I was saying about Wekiva's play being much more efficient, and that, of course, the underlying cause is much more fluidic, moving inside-outside. And that's really what they do well. That's the base of their style and their game, and just really everything they do, from strategy to statistically growing out of that fluidic movement of the ball through their motion offense.
Out of bounds, Mustangs ball. Returning to the game for the Mustangs, Isaiah Laster. Visual Russell pops the ball away there from Terrence McLean. Wekiva stays in control. Once, of course, we manage to chase the ball out into the lobby.
So a 16-point lead here, 188 seconds left. That's 3 minutes and 8 seconds.
Foul called against Visual Russell. That's his 2nd personal foul, the team's 7th. That'll put the Mustangs into bonus at the line, shooting 1-and-1, Terrence McLean.
So again, with a little over 3 minutes here, looking back to two big runs has really been the difference for Wekiva. The first came at the beginning of the second quarter as as 12 of 16 points were scored by Wekiva, and then of course that was answered by West Orange here towards the end of the second quarter. Wekiva had a second run in the third quarter, which was not answered by West Orange.
Isaac Laster. That basket right there for the Mustangs, and that gives them a 55-37 lead as we head into the last 2.5 minutes. 3 won't go here for Visual Russell, and yet another rebound for Latavius Poole, who's been a rebounding machine tonight for the Mustangs. The young freshman pulling down a baker's dozen 13 so far.
And just real quick, that third quarter run there was 26-26. West Orange tied the ball game with a three-pointer, and then Wekiva scored 11 of the next 14 points.
Terrence McLean gets the basket and a chance to make it a three-point play. Foul called against number 2, Eric Wynn. That's his third personal foul, the team's 8th.
Actually, excuse me, that was Wekiva scored 13 of 16 points after the game was tied at 26 all. And they wound up outscoring West Orange by a 22-8 count heading in the third quarter, and pretty much that's been the difference, as we mentioned. And now I see West Orange has put in their sub, so it looks like this game's pretty much going to go down in the victory column for Wekiva.
The Mustangs request a timeout. Full timeout called by Wekiva. Welcome back to Mustang Arena. Got a buck and a half left. Landon O'Brien down the baseline for 2.
So again, one of the non-starters have come in the last minute or so here as we get to the end of the ball game.
Poole looked like he almost wanted to take a 3, but then thought better of it. Mustangs, of course, don't really need anything out of this possession other than just to end on a high note. But they're going to give the ball away here. Out of bounds, Warriors ball. Yeah. Checking into the game for the Mustangs, Neil Fleurville. And you hear the crowd go wild there because Neil Fleurville is a JV promotion who does not get a lot of varsity minutes, and so it's nice to see him in a varsity game.
Yeah, at this point, Mark, you just want to avoid suffering any injuries.
Isaiah Laster from Isaac Laster. Isaac Laster called in his second personal foul. It's the team's 9th at the line, shooting 1-on-1 bonus. Number 1, Eli Gonzalez.
So with 35.9 seconds left here, when we look back at this game, Mark, really the difference is going to be that run there at the beginning of the third quarter. West Orange had tied the ball game at 26 all. Wekiva then went on an 11-3 run, and they've really just steadily added to that lead, pretty much 3-2. I'd say a 3-2 ratio. Wekiva scoring more points on every 3 possessions compared to 2 for West Orange. Really the difference and the reason for that run is Wekiva just found a much more fluidic motion, movement of the ball on offense through their motion offense, as well as defensively the rotation became much more fluidic. And that's really what Wekiva does. They're at their best when they're moving fluidically on defense and moving the ball fluidically on offense.
Second chance basket by Skylar Helmuth.
So, and it's most important to remember, all of this means Wekiva will come out of this ball game with a 3rd victory in their last 4 attempts and up their record to 6-9.
That takes us to the end of the ball game. The Mustangs have a strong finish for a 19-point victory here in this district contest. 60-41 is the final score here on Tuesday Night Basketball. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you so much for coming out to support your Mustang and Warrior athletes tonight. We hope that you will join us back here at Mustang Arena on Thursday night. That is January 17th as the Mustang hosts Ridge Community. And a little bit of a programming note, because of a conflict with the Metro vs. Florida Challenge, that game will still be at Wekiva, but it will not be webcast. We'll be bringing you a lot of webcast games from Apopka at the Metro vs. Florida Challenge, and that will continue into Friday, which includes 2 Wekiva games that we will be webcasting, but not on the Wekiva Sports Channel. We'll be webcasting them on the Metro vs. Florida Channel. And that will be the Mustangs boys. They'll be playing against Vanguard Friday at 5 o'clock, and then we'll have a district showdown between the Mustang girls and the Apopka Blue Darters Friday at 6:30. Both of those games are part of the 20-game showcase that is the Metro vs. Florida Challenge just down the road at Apopka High School. We hope you'll join us for those games as well. Your leaders for this game for West Orange, Eric Wynn turned in 10 points and 6 rebounds. For the Mustangs, Terrence McLean, 18 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. Michael James led all scorers with 20 points and 8 rebounds. And we cannot leave without mentioning the young freshman, Latavia Spool, who had 8 points and 13 rebounds for the Mustangs tonight, helping them get to that 60-41 victory. Once again, thanks for joining us tonight, whether live or whether on tape, from our YouTube or NFHS network channels. Please drive carefully and arrive home safely, and have a great night.